I never imagined one casual conversation could completely unravel my life. Yet here I am, replaying the moment it all began, still trying to understand how everything spun so wildly out of control. It started so innocently, just a simple chat between my wife and me. Claire and I had been together for nearly 8 years. Our relationship wasn't perfect, but it was real. We had our routines, our quiet moments, and an understanding built over time. The spark might not have burned as brightly as in the early days, but there was comfort in our familiarity. At least, that's what I thought, until one evening changed everything. We were sitting together on the couch, sharing a bottle of wine, when Claire turned to me with a playful smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. "I've been thinking," she said, her tone light but deliberate. "What if we tried something different?" I laughed softly, unsure where she was going with this. "Different how?" I asked, half teasing, half uneasy. She hesitated just a moment before saying, "I was talking to Sarah earlier, her twin sister, and we were wondering what if she pretended to be me, just for one night." The words didn't register at first. I blinked, thinking I'd misheard. "Wait, what?" Claire chuckled, but there was a strange seriousness behind her smile. "It's just an idea. We've always joked about how identical we are. Same voice, same hair, same everything. What if we played with that for a bit? Just for fun. You trust me, and she's my sister." The air between us went still. My mind scrambled to make sense of what she was suggesting. Was this a joke? A test? I couldn't tell. I wanted to laugh it off, to tell her how absurd it was, but something about the way she looked at me made me pause. Her expression was calm, measured, like she'd already thought this through. "You're serious?" I finally said. She nodded slowly. "It could be exciting," she murmured. "Something new for us." I should have said no. Every rational part of me screamed that this was a terrible idea, but curiosity, or maybe temptation, crept in. Maybe it was the wine, maybe it was the thrill of the forbidden, but before I knew it, I was nodding. "All right," I said quietly. "Just once." That once changed everything. Sarah came over for dinner the next evening, as she often did. Claire was her usual self, cheerful and composed, while Sarah seemed different. There was a spark in her eyes that I hadn't noticed before. At some point, Claire excused herself, saying she had plans with friends. Sarah stayed. When she reappeared later, dressed in one of Claire's favorite outfits, her hair styled the same, her perfume unmistakably identical, I froze. The resemblance was uncanny. It wasn't just how she looked, it was how she moved, how she spoke. For a moment, I couldn't tell where Claire ended and Sarah began. We watched a movie together, pretending nothing was unusual, but the air was heavy with tension. I caught myself staring more than once. Sarah noticed. Each time, her lips curved into a knowing smile. "This is just for fun," she whispered at one point, her voice eerily soft, almost matching her sister's. "Claire said you'd be okay with it." And that was the moment I lost control. Everything that followed felt dreamlike, blurred, hazy, wrong. But I didn't stop. I told myself it was harmless, that Claire had approved it. Yet the truth was, I'd already crossed a line I could never step back from. When Claire returned the next morning, I could barely look at her. My stomach churned with guilt. She didn't ask what had happened. She didn't have to. There was something in her eyes, that same knowing glint from the night before, and the silence between us said everything. The following days were suffocating. Sarah avoided me, but the few times our eyes met, it was like reliving the mistake over and over again. Claire acted calm, too calm, until one night she finally confronted me. "Did you enjoy it?" she asked quietly. "Did you want it to happen?" Her voice broke something inside me. I wanted to explain that it wasn't just desire, that it was confusion, temptation, weakness, but there were no words that could make it right. What started as a twisted game of curiosity had become a fracture we couldn't mend. The trust we'd spent years building was gone. The intimacy that once defined us now felt tainted, replaced by shame and questions neither of us could answer. That night, lying awake beside her, I realized something with brutal clarity, Some doors, once opened, can never be closed again. And no matter how harmless they may seem at first, they can destroy everything you thought you understood about love, trust, and the person you've become.